My Mongoose Malus fat tire bike sat idle all winter last year looking for snow and nothing. And this year looked no better, though on Monday Mother Nature teased just a bit. We got our first winter storm, at least of sorts. We got almost an inch of ice, which even on a fat tire bike, kind of a no-go. I tried lots of sliding and gliding, not fun unless of course your definition of fun is stress. But this ice, it's all I had to work with. The second winter of the Malus patiently waiting, and then all of a sudden, as the ice was supposed to be ending, something unexpected happened. Snow. Not just snow, but the biggest flakes I've seen in recent memory, and I'm not kidding, look at this. So big they're actually casting shadows as they fall. And come sunrise, 5 inches of snow over that ice. And that means Malus time. Good timing because I never put the Malus away. The entryway into my basement was still slick with ice, so I put it under my deck. So it has a few snow and ice accents on it, but all that waiting that was so long I had forgotten that I'd put some upgrades on the Malus. Like a wake stem, wake bars, possibly the first time I ever used wake bars, and the cheapest lock-on grips I could find, or the cheapest I could find that actually lock on. Even hydraulic brakes, again, I totally forgot about these, and I'll be coming back to them, but I do remember the shifter. I swapped out the twist shifter for a Shimano trigger shifter, and a couple of changes to the drivetrain, like the Rock Bros pedals, decent budget pedals, but a slightly thicker profile than race-face Chesters or the Fukers that I like, though thicker, right at home here on a fat tire bike. And normally when I start modifying a bike, I start looking at the drivetrain like this square taper crankset, but fat tire bike equals freakishly wide bottom bracket. And parts for this not so common, so it will stay the 1x that it is up front. At the rear, the factory tourney derailleur is fine, but this bike only 1x7, and there's a lot of rolling resistance and weight to pedal, so I changed it to a mega range from 14 to 28 tooth to 14 to 34. The best I could do at the time, though now I'm thinking about the Boundaries Pro Rush freewheel and 7-speed setup. Help on the low end, always appreciated by me, and I have those parts laying around, so I may at some point in the future give them a try. But all this is really window dressing for those fat wheels, the center feature of the bike and what it's all built around. But these wheels, they're slower and harder to spin up, but once they're moving, they're also harder to slow down. And that's why I changed out the factory mechanical disc brakes to the hydraulics that I said I had forgotten. Even the brand is obscure after parts hydraulics. I think these disappeared a couple of weeks after I bought them, and they were the cheapest hydraulics I've ever purchased. Meaning knockoffs, but better than what they replaced, though I'm a little impressed here because this sat outside in 8-degree temperatures and then 15 degrees and then 17 degrees and 0 issues with these brakes. And that holds true for all the other parts too, all budget, all perfectly functional in these cold and frozen conditions. Even serendipity was on my side with this ride because I lowered the tire pressure before the front Schrader valve disappeared into all the ice and snow. Now let's talk about the ride. From a complete novice snow rider perspective, at least for riding in anything more than a dusting of snow. Riding on fresh snow, not that difficult, though there is a bit of a learning curve for areas that are hard packed, because even with fat tires, compacted snow is, well, ice. So anything compacted, like say car tire tracks, there are lots of unintended weaves and wavers. I quickly learned to seek out the mounds between tire tracks and kind of crisscross them as I went if I didn't have any fresh snow to ride in. But get those fat tires into fresh snow and the bike is very much at home and really easy to ride. I said breeze earlier, but it does take considerable effort to pedal, even in the lowest gear. There's lots of rolling resistance with fat tires in general, but considerably more when they're almost deflated and they're having to plow through a constant mound of snow. It's like constantly pedaling up a hill, even on flat ground. Actually, adding a hill to that equation, and it's 3 times as fatiguing. And you can see here, I'm climbing a decent-sized hill while seated in the lowest gear, and I'm struggling a bit. I can even feel drag while coasting down a hill. On a regular bike with no snow, I would be moving fast enough down this hill to, with minimal effort and minimal pedaling, crest the next hill. But fat tires plus snow, while fun, I have to pedal hard. But it didn't take me long before I figured out how to stand and pedal uphill in snow, shift my weight backwards towards the rear tire, nearly unbreakable traction. I've been talking a lot about the extra effort, but on-road or off, and off-road in this case being cutting through a yard, and all this resistance aside, it's fun and gives a weird, almost empowering feeling. An example, it's amazing how much stuff, roots, mounds, even small hills, will sneak up in a snow-covered yard, but with these fat tires and enough effort, they'll roll over anything. In my 3 days of fat tire bike winter riding indoctrination, I feel that I could ride anywhere on this bike with these conditions, and that's impressive to me. Notable notes from all this: a no on solid ice, which is really obvious, and new knowledge gained. Stick to fresh snow for max fat tire advantage, and cover the saddle. It doesn't take long for a layer of ice to cover the saddle and make its home there. I found that a Walmart bag does a good job of keeping that at bay. And major discovery here: with fat tires and enough snow, the kickstand that the bike comes equipped with, somewhat optional because the bike can stand up on its own in certain conditions. I was pretty happy with this. I was like someone that flipped a quarter and it lands on its edge. I didn't want to move it. Other than the Mega Range freewheel, which I feel is a must modification for this fat tire bike, even on flat ground without snow, I really don't think there's anything else in its factory form that would keep it from being a great snow bike. At the very least, it's earned its spot in my bike inventory as my preferred snow bike. Now tell me what you think about the Malus as a snow bike, and have you ridden a fat tire bike in the snow? And if you haven't, let me know. It looks fun, right? It should, because it is. Comment below and also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you have that notification bell active. I had a live stream, my first ever, just a few days ago, and I'm going to start doing those regularly. But I had quite a few regular viewers that missed out because they thought they had the notification bell active and they didn't, so they never received the notification. So if you don't want to miss out, be sure you have that active. Thanks so much for watching KevCentral, and have a snow day.